Good morning from the Space Coast of Florida, where we are witnessing a beautiful sunrise as we fly high above the rocket and spacecraft bound for the International Space Station. Liftoff of NASA's Boeing crew flight test set for 10:52 and 15 seconds a.m. Eastern Time.
Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4.
I feel the liftoff. The clock has started.
Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Roger, 0G, and I feel fine. Godspeed, John Glenn.
Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed. Rocket Tranquility, we copy you on the ground.
New possibilities are opening up for scientific cooperation between countries.
2, 1, 0. Liftoff. Americans return to space as Discovery clears the tower.
Discovery, go and throttle up.
Discovery, Roger, go for deploy.
Thanks to you and to everybody in the shuttle program. The crew is go for launch.
Roger. Nice to be in orbit.
We have followed in their footsteps to get us where we are today.
And here are the astronauts who will fly for the first time ever in Boeing's Starliner spacecraft. Commander Butch Wilmore and pilot Sunny Williams, as you can see, suiting up for their mission into the history books.
And this is and the space station and our scientific program.
Now, as we are back in the suit-up room, a reminder for everyone that CFT will only be the 6th time NASA astronauts will launch on a new spacecraft designed for crew. And the last time an Atlas-class rocket sent humans to space was 61 years ago for the final flight of NASA's Mercury program. Now, Mike, I know you're great friends with both Butch and Sunny, and you got to speak with them late last night. So how are they feeling going into this third launch attempt?
I am very impressed with my colleagues for being such optimists and such professionals. They've been in quarantine for a long time. We've been waiting for over 5 years to get Starliner launched, but they are very excited about today. You can see that they're focused on getting the job done, and they are very ready for this mission. And they wish all of us a great experience in joining them on this great journey.
Now, as you can tell,
good one today, as it has been for the previous 2 attempts. We are back at just 10% probability of violation, which is 90% go, and you can see why outside. It's a beautiful view outside. You see the graphic there, 90% go. The only concern is the cumulus cloud rule. And that's because there is a little bit of some convection that they expect to happen right there offshore, closer to T0. We could have some puffy clouds around increasing as a result of the sea breeze coming right off the ocean there. You see the Atlantic Ocean overlooking the launch pad there. That could possibly trigger some cumulus clouds that could pose a risk. That's what they're going to be keeping their eyes on as we go back into the suit-up room. But the threat is low, as I mentioned, only just 10% chance that it could pop up during the T0. We got an update from the launch weather officer, Melody Lovin, and she gave basically what I just told you, that everything is looking good. We're also monitoring the abort corridor, which is up the eastern seaboard. I'll talk more about that in another hit later on in the launch broadcast. But overall, that chance for it being an issue is also low. So we're looking good here from Hangar AE. We'll send it back to Megan, Mike, and Dee.
thank you so much to Lauren, Dylan, and Daryl. And here we are again in the suit-up room. We actually just witnessed Butch finish his suit leak check, and we know that because now his visor is unzipped. He's moved over to the right chair. And that suit leak check, Mike, let's explain it for some people who might not know what that is and why it's.
Now let's walk you through what you'll see over the next almost 5 hours on this broadcast. After suiting up, Butch and Sunny will walk out of Kennedy's operations and checkout building to say their goodbyes to family and friends before their ride out to the launch pad in an Astrovan.
And then once at the pad, the crew will ascend ULA's Crew Access Tower to board Starliner in a process we call INGRESS. And then once INGRESS is complete, the pad team will close Starliner's hatch. They will then make sure the spacecraft is sealed properly by conducting a cabin leak check. About 11 minutes before launch, the crew access arm, which is that long suspended walkway you'll see the astronauts use to get to Starliner, you're going to see that retract to the tower, and then different teams will then take part in a poll to confirm they are ready and configured for terminal count before liftoff. Around 15 minutes after launch, Starliner will separate from the Centaur upper stage. And at 31 minutes into launch, the orbital insertion burn begins to get Starliner into a stable orbit. Now, if you have any questions about this mission over the next
Ascent begins at T-0, liftoff, the end of the countdown and the beginning of the mission. Shortly afterwards, at T+12 seconds, the rocket rolls, lining up Starliner with its target orbit and putting the astronauts in a heads-up position. Then, around T+40 seconds, max Q starts. That's also known as max aerodynamic pressure. This is a critical time when the atmospheric forces reach their highest. Next, at about +1 minute 35 seconds, the two solid rocket boosters run out of fuel and burn out, and about a minute later they separate from the booster. The Atlas booster engine continues to burn for almost 2 more minutes. Then at approximately +430, booster engine cutoff, or BECO. About 5 seconds later, the booster separates and so does the ascent cover on top of Starliner. At around 4 minutes 45 seconds, the Centaur upper stage ignites, continuing the push to orbital speeds. Then a little after 5 minutes, Starliner is free of the atmosphere and doesn't need additional aerodynamic support, and the aeroskirt is jettisoned. After a long 6+ minute push from Centaur, main engine cutoff, or MECO, happens around 12 minutes after liftoff. Then, when Centaur successfully separates almost 15 minutes after launch, ULA's job is done. But Starliner is not quite in orbit yet. After a 16-minute coast, Starliner ignites 4 of its orbital maneuvering and attitude control, or OMAC engines, for the orbital insertion burn, and then 31 minutes after liftoff, the ascent profile is complete.
Nets is that the pad team has made its way back to the pad, and the white room is configured for being ready to get the crew back in there. You can see they're working to open the hatch at this moment. And so once the crew gets back over there, they'll be ready to start doing all of the procedures there in the white room. The Starliner Control Center has shifted control of the spacecraft over to Mission Control in Houston. And then also our team has been managing a small helium leak in Starliner's propulsion system.
It's an arm wrestling contest between Joe Acaba and Butch Wilmore. Oh no, not right hand, lefty. Oh, here we go. Let's take this in. I think Butch said, "Are you trying?" Oh, I think it ended in a tie. Come on, guys. We're going to do some rock, paper, scissors. You know, I don't see any cards in this. This is a tradition. Normally, in this part of the suit up, after they've got their suits and done their checks, they do a card game. But in this case, it appears they are going with rock, paper, scissors. The whole idea here is to lose to the chief you see there, Joe Acaba. And he beat him. He beat him. So there you go. Joe Acaba wins 1, and he's wins against Sunny. Let's send it back now to the host desk.
Yeah, this is a fun moment. As Daryl mentioned, usually it's a card game. That's a tradition that dates back to many missions ago. And the point is for just to have some laughs. No, the point is what, Mike?
So the point is to try to get the bad luck, though.
And here we go. Out of the suit-up room, Commander Butch Wilmore and pilot Sunny Williams walking to an elevator at the end of the hallway to depart astronaut crew quarters. Again, armed with roses. This time, it looks like orange or yellow roses. They had red roses the other day. But again, same tradition of handing some of those off to folks who have supported them throughout this mission.
Well, if the yellow roses work this time, I think Starliner 1 will be handing out yellow roses the first time.
Oh, that's wonderful.
But we have a great team at crew quarters, and they're saying a quick prayer of blessing to get all the best for Butch and Sunny.
And now they're getting into that elevator.
With life-size posters of Butch and Sunny.
A wave from Butch before the doors close. That elevator will then take them down 3 flights.
I think I see their patch. The Butch and Sunny patch is on right. And here it comes.
Here they come, our CFT crew taking their first steps outside for their historic flight test to the International Space Station. Commander Butch Wilmore and pilot Sunny Williams. Pausing for a second, a wave from both of them as they walk on over to family and friends. I think they're throwing out mission patches. Was that it?
Yeah, Butch definitely likes to share the joy.
And again, they had a couple more roses, which they've handed out to folks here in the crowd.
We can see astronaut Doug Wheelock, who came down to support the family. He's also getting some good video to document, for family archives this special moment.
And Doug Wheelock and Sunny Williams were in the same astronaut class, right? 1998.
1998. The Penguins, we called them.
You know I like that. My high school mascot was a penguin.
A hug there. She has been such a great help to keep the crew and Boeing management and Boeing team in sync, as well as to make sure they stay on time, and that's why they're on time today. Thanks, Megan. Good job.
Oh, not me. Got it.
Well. And thank you to you, Megan Cruz.
All right, the door now closing.
Flick on channel 1. Go ahead, Flick. Crew transport convoy is en route to LC-41. Estimated arrival at the roadblock is at L-307. Roger.
That they wanted clips from the Top Gun Maverick movie playing in the Astrovan to get them all hyped up for their test flight to space. But my question for you, Mike, because you rode with them the first time, is are they actually watching that? Because my impression is they're making a lot of phone calls while they drive in the Astrovan to people they want to thank, right?
Oh, yes. Butch.
OSM, LC.
OSM.
Crew transport convoy is en route to pad. Permit entry into FHA.
Roger.
All right.
What are you looking for?
So it looks like the
I was curious if
Astrovan is pulling into the pad at this moment. Dylan, this crew feels very confident with their ride to space on the Atlas, which has a 100% mission success rate.
OSM.
Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Crew transport vehicle is entered the pad.
Roger.
Yeah, that's right,
Crew
Lauren.
Clear to proceed to level 12.
Roger.
The Atlas V Starliner configuration was designed with a commitment to safety, and it's one of the most reliable rockets in the world. But in this configuration, we carry an extra layer of safety for the specialized duty of launching astronauts to the International Space Station. We have an emergency detection system, we call it EDS for short, that was developed by our engineers to enhance the protection of astronauts riding atop Atlas V by autonomously monitoring the health of the launch vehicle. If the EDS detects an impending anomaly, it can trigger an abort faster than any human could possibly do so.
Okay.
Very well with the rocket. As you can see, things seem to be going well. The crew access tower is ready, and the team here is hoping for cool runnings as we march toward liftoff.
All right, and as we see the astronauts coming out there on level 12, we will send it back over to Dee, Megan, and Mike.
Yeah, so Butch and Sunny arriving on level 12 of the crew access tower, as we've been saying. We do just want to reference a little bit of the chatter that we heard on the loops just a couple of minutes ago. Somebody was saying that the cameras are out of configuration in level 12. That's, again, just this level, like outside. Nothing with the rocket or the spacecraft. It's just, right, Mike, cameras that are on the...
That's exactly it. There's cameras, I don't say everywhere, but as you can see, we all can see where Sunny's taking a quick look at last look at planet Earth for a while, looking out over the ocean, saying hi to us. Hi, Sunny.
I think he's saying hi to you. That's right. Just you, Mike.
No, she's definitely saying hi to everyone. She's waiting. Butch is taking care of a little bit of business in a restroom, and you got to, what do you say? You got to go before you go, just like we teach our kids.
And as we zoom out a little bit again, wow, what a great view. Really gives you perspective of where they are. Almost at the top of that crew access hour, but just a short walkway until they get into their spacecraft.
Butch is back, and they're going to say another quick prayer for a safe and successful flight, and that everybody gets a chance to do their very best today.
Butch is an ordained minister, and really it is nice. It's been nice to see them take these moments together and say some
and
words.
OSM LC.
OSM, go ahead, sir.
Roger. Okay, I see the CTV backing up now.
Chat.
Yes,
Go ahead,
it's good to it's good to see that the crew transport vehicle has cleared the area. That means we're expecting the crew not to have to come back today, and we'll send them up to space, and their next stop would be the International Space Station.
Again, it's important for teams to monitor exactly how many people are at the launch pad in that flight hazard area, because we are, fingers crossed, launching a rocket today.
Well, we'll find out in 2 hours, 58 minutes, and 47 seconds.
That's right. And here they go. Butch and Sunny walking across the crew access arm. Their way into the white room there.
LCSYS-11.
Before they get into Starliner.
Go ahead.
Step 170, L1 balloon cycle task is complete.
Roger.
Now, here in the white room, we have some other pad team members here. Obviously, they're all good friends, having a good time, and now a prayer before they get down to business.
Yeah, we've had a chance to get to know our pad team very well.
Departed the pad.
And the CTV is out of the area. And what's really neat is that the Boeing pad team, this is not their day job. They have other jobs in the company, and then today they all get together and help the launch, get the crew inside the Starliner, and get ready for launch. He is taking the patches, the name tags, off of the pad team.
That's right. It is a tradition that I think dates back, but for Starliner missions, they're going to take the name tags off of all of the pad teammates and attach them, put them inside of the Starliner and fly them with them during their missions. And of course, hopefully bring them back. I'm sure that's a very nice token and treat that this team will appreciate.
And so as we see Butch getting in there, tight squeeze, it looks like a little bit. Mike?
Oh yes, but it's definitely there's definitely a lot more leg room than we had in the Soyuz. Maybe a little less than the shuttle, but I call it cozy. It's quite comfortable, and it's once Butch gets strapped in all the way and has finished his checks, he might have a few extra moments for another micro nap. I know I would if I were there.
Breakfast. To the folks in Mission Control in Houston, did that surprise you when you heard about that, Mike?
Not at all. Of course, I didn't know about this one, but the fact that they did it was
right.
It's just very indicative of my crewmates. What we've how we've really tried to focus on the rest of the team, and the rest of the team focuses on us, and it's a big happy team working together. So least we can do is buy them breakfast.
Yeah, and I'm sure they really appreciated it. It's really a nice gesture. All of these different gestures that both Butch and Sunny have been able to do throughout these couple of launch attempts. Now here, Sunny is. She's in her pilot seat inside Starliner. We're going to see the same sort of process that we saw with Butch, right? So they're going to get her buckled in, same 5-point harness, the toe and knee restraints. And then also we'll hear the various comm checks, again, with different teams, right, that they need to be communicating with, Mike?
Absolutely. Everybody hatch on the left-hand side. There's 2 seats. Butch sits the one on the farthest away, and then Sunny sits on the next one. There's 2 other seats that we're going to use for future flights. This time we have cargo on them. The cargo come in these soft bags. We learned from Space Shuttle program that you can put more stuff into flexible bags than to metal containers. So we have these flexible bags called cargo transfer bags, or CTBs. And Boeing cargo bags are all blue, and the NASA cargo bags are all white, so we can easily tell the difference. And on for us, and we couldn't do it without without Boeing, for example, for today.
Pad, air to ground 1.
Pad Starliner, go ahead.
Starliner, be advised, we've been given a go to proceed with final hatch closure.
We are ready.
Oh, they are ready for sure.
They are ready, I know. We're ready too.
Several weeks.
Copy that. We're smiling out here too. See you in a couple weeks.
That's great. See you in a couple of weeks.
Which will be then when we open that hatch again.
And so now for the latest out of that last weather briefing we heard about and NASA's oversight of launch operations, let's bring back NASA's Daryl Nail here at Kennedy. Daryl.
Yeah, you heard about the weather brief. You're talking about it. The weather brief was a great one, just reiterating that we are in a great position. Outdoors, temperatures are nice, around the 80s. We have some light winds, about 10 knots flowing in. We do have some coastal showers, but they're pretty far offshore. We have a satellite, we have a radar rather that can show us that, and you can see there on the right-hand side, you see those showers kind of popping up and growing just south of the Space Coast. But Launch Weather Officer Melody Lovin just reported to the launch team that she is forecasting that they will all stay far away offshore. In addition, there's some cumulus clouds that are popping up and around, but she says those should be a factor as well. They are going to keep an eye on them. So we are still, according to our weather officer, 90% go for liftoff at T0 at 10:52 and 15 seconds a.m. Eastern Time. There you see the light winds and the expected temperature, and that only concern the cumulus cloud rule because you can't fly a rocket through a cumulus cloud. Otherwise, it could potentially create its own lightning strike. So that's why they have that rule in place. There's a
the urine processor is in essence a pump, and it takes our waste products, our number one, our pee, and helps take all the water out of it. Our water processing assembly aboard the International Space Station, we've gotten to be really good at it. We can get over 97% of our water recycled, and each time we send a liter of water aboard up to space station, it's like $5,000. So being able to recycle water is not just good for space station, but for when we go to Moon and Mars. So this urine processor, when it's not working, and a space station program manager said so at the most recent press conference, we've got to get it up there. Other than that, we have these large bags full of urine that need to be processed, and it'll start stacking up on us because we don't want to throw it away. We need to definitely process it. So having Starliner, an hour and a half to go. Having
CST 100 pad operations are complete and ready to configure the white room for launch. Annulus purge was disconnected at 13:54 Zulu.
Roger. Blue team lead, LC.
Go ahead.
Perform toxic vapor and O2 checks when raising the environmental seal and configure white room for launch.
Roger.
Getting that room right there ready to launch. You'll see that environmental seal around the Starliner and get ready to go up as they get that room ready for launch, and eventually at L-11 minutes retract the arm away.
Will give us a second provider, which means if we have a problem with either, we have ways to get our crews to and from station, which helps keep the tempo that we've had for 23 years of having humans in low Earth orbit, but also that opportunity to get the crews back if there's an issue at all, and keep that presence going.
Absolutely. You know, this has already been a very exciting year for the agency with many.
They will also poll the spacecraft test conductor who monitors
All
our power
communications
systems.
switch to channel 1. All personnel and visitors remain in present position until launch. Maintain operational silence in the LCC.
This is the LC with a terminal count briefing. If a condition exceeds a launch constraint anytime after the terminal count status check, the observer shall announce hold, hold, hold on channel 1, identify their station, and briefly state the reason for the hold.
Richard Jones polled his team, the NASA operations manager,
15 minutes.
and all of them are go.
LC flight, channel 1 and air to ground 1 are now merged, going to air to ground 1.
Roger.
We'll send it back to the host desk.
LC flight, air to ground 1, ready for contact with Starliner on channel 1.
Roger. Starliner, LC, com check on channel 1.
Those are comm checks again
LC,
between different
Starliner,
teams.
loud and clear.
I have you loud and clear also.
And our astronauts, who you see there. Again, this is the test
Starliner,
flight.
Houston, comm check, air ground 1.
Houston, Starliner, loud and clear.
Houston has you loud and clear on air to ground 1.
Into orbit, Starliner will be working to catch up with the space station, eventually reaching speeds of more than 17,500 miles per hour. It'll take about 25 hours or so to get there. And we are going to be watching here any minute
minus 11 minutes.
for the crew access
arm
arm.
controls, so the crew access arm for launch.
Roger.
Right on cue. Crew access arm about to start moving away from the spacecraft. And Dylan, we will watch it move very slowly today, but it could move much faster if needed.
That's right, Lauren. It takes about 2 minutes to rotate the 120 degrees back away from Starliner to its stowed position and latched position on the crew access tower. Here we go. But we could, in the event of an emergency, redeploy it in less than 15 seconds.
It's amazing that it can do that. We hope to not have to ever see that happen. After liftoff today, Brandy and Jim will continue commentary from Houston through ascent, spacecraft separation, and the orbital insertion burn. We will have the shot of Butch and Sunny inside Starliner until the moment of launch, and then we will get it again when we get to the ISS.
minus 10 minutes.
Flight, verify CST 100 on internal power.
Verified.
Starliner, configure ordnance for launch.
Touch and lift.
All right, the spacecraft is running completely on its own now. And
for launch.
minus 7 minutes.
Status check to proceed with terminal count, Atlas systems, propulsion,
Go.
hydraulics,
Go.
pneumatics,
Go.
LO2,
Go.
water,
Go.
Centaur systems, propulsion,
Go.
pneumatics,
Go.
LO2,
Go.
LH2,
Go.
has gas,
Go.
electrical systems, airborne,
Go.
ground,
Go.
facility,
Go.
RFFTS,
Go.
flight control,
Go.
GCQ,
Go.
op support,
Go.
comm,
Go.
umbilicals,
Go.
arm control,
Go.
ECS,
Go.
redline monitor,
Go.
quality,
Go.
op safety manager,
Go.
ULA safety officer,
Go.
vehicle system engineer,
Go.
anomaly chief,
Go.
range coordinator,
Clear to proceed.
flight director,
Houston flight is go.
Starliner,
Starliner, go.
launch director,
You have permission to launch.
proceeding with the count. ALC, verify T0 is set for 14:52:15 Zulu.
Verified.
Starliner, net is clear.
Thank you, LC. For everybody listening, just a thought. Sonny and I, as we were traveling to the pad, we saw many American flags, and many of you were waving flags at us. And then as we reached the pad, we look up, and of course there's that American flag on the side of the White Room, also one on the side of the rocket itself. And we know that that represents unity and resilience and unified efforts for the common good. And that's what Sonny and I have witnessed this last month. Each of you displaying what this nation's forefathers envisioned, a people committed to God, family, and country, a people who use their gifts and talents for the common good, and are passionate and tough. And we all know that when the going gets tough, and it often does, the tough get going. And you have. And Sonny and I are honored to share this dream of spaceflight with each and every one of you. So with that, LC, let's get going. Now let's put some fire in this rocket, and let's push it to the heavens where all these tough Americans have prepared it to be.
Let's go, Calypso. Take us to space and back.
LC flight, Starliner configured for terminal count.
120. OCU's armed.
SCS count started, EDS ascent.
Starliner, last arm to auto.
Last arm auto.
Roger.
That call meaning if the emergency detection system on Atlas detects something.
Rock report range status.
Range green. 54. POP started.
It will trigger the launch abort system on Starliner and fire automatically. If that happened, the spacecraft would push itself away from the rocket a mile up and a mile out.
Atlas at flight press.
30. Centaur at flight press. 25.
Status check. Go Atlas. Go Centaur. Go Starliner. Godspeed, Butch and Sunny.
Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition. And liftoff of Starliner and Atlas V, carrying 2 American heroes, drawing a line to the stars for all of us.
Commander Butch, Wilmore, they're calling down to Mission Control here in Houston that the spacecraft has begun rolling into the right attitude for its ascent. The guidance, navigation, and control officer here in the room seeing good data on that.
Starliner passing through max Q, or the point of maximum dynamic pressure where the forces of air friction are highest, which in Sunny will shortly be passing through Mach 1, where the speed of sound.
Got a good throttle up.
Starliner and Atlas looking good with speeds and attitude increasing as expected. Coming up in less than 20 seconds, the solid rocket boosters will run out of fuel and burn out.
Good SRB burnout.
Good SRB.
Now that the fuel in the solid rocket boosters has been depleted, the Atlas main booster stage will be continuing its burn for about the next 3 minutes.
Good handle.
Good handle.
That call, good handle, from Capcom Joshua Kutrick, indicating that the crew now has the ability to initiate an abort manually if needed. All looking good so far. Now 2 minutes into Starliner's flight and coming up on the solid rocket booster jettison at the 2 minute and 40-second mark.
CLG and net, good trajectory.
CLG.
The solid rocket boosters have now been jettisoned after seeing Starliner through its first 90 seconds of flight. Team on the
Atlas booster now throttling back to limit the G-forces on Butch and Sunny, trying to limit that to around 3.5 times the force of gravity you would feel while on the ground.
Staging.
You're in the ground.
Decals open. You have sublimator rock.
Decal sub-act. Decal. Great act.
Team on the ground reporting that they saw the ascent cover on top of Starliner that's been protecting the spacecraft's docking system through its climb into orbit. They saw that jettison as planned.
Staging was good. You have good control.
ISP, or specific impulse, relative to its design baseline of around 450.
All continuing to perform well, almost 7 minutes into today's flight.
LV SEP confirmed.
Good LV SEP. And Houston Starliner, last arm is off. Backup control switches, enable 1 on, enable 2 off. SM RCS is the mode.
We copy off. Enable 1 is on. Enable 2 is off. SM RCS, you're in a good config.
Good config.